Hi everyone, welcome back to my garden. I have been waiting so long to be able to come out here and just clean it, revamp it, and see what survives because as you see, it is a disaster out here. The leaves have been brutal. We still have the aftermath of autumn and it happens every year. And I have to let it go and just look the other way and hope that the succulents and the cacti will be okay. The leaves just get so thick, and then I clean it, and then the next day it's the same. So I have to wait until I have most of the leaves on the ground so that I can make a dent and make my beautiful garden beautiful again. I can see that I have some casualties. This lamp, I don't know, or this light, I don't know how it ended up in that position, but I can imagine. I have a lot of replanting and just, I guess, thinning out plants that are overgrown and exfoliated. For the most part, I'm very happy with all the plants. It looks like if they've made it. And here, as you can see, I have tons of these big trees lining. These are on the back side of our property, and that's a community park in our gated community. And we still get, that's how it is with the trees. They're so beautiful, though, that, oh well, we will deal with the consequences. I'm showing you here my Meyer lemon. It survived. It has some flowers and some fruit on it. Hopefully, I can keep it alive. As you see, I have all my gear out, my gloves and my broom and just this thing here. We're gonna have to take it down and throw it away and replace it for next season because it got a big tear on it. The wind was very brutal and I didn't take it down, which I should have. And this is what happened here. But it has been wonderful in shielding my plants in the hot months. And as you can see, the puntias are doing great. They are humongous. And everything is doing a lot better because um, the water was turned off from the other side. We were having a big problem with the water seeping in. And really, it was a mealybug mess. And it was just killing a lot of my plants. And the weed was out of control. So now it's about cleaning it. And this tapelia, I can't wait till it flowers, even though the flower does smell like death. But look, it has mealybug. I don't know why it's not in a place where it gets a lot of moisture, but this one is very prone to mealybug. So I'll be washing that off and maybe treating it with some alcohol and water later on. Um, yeah, I can't wait to get into here. But what happens is that when you start digging in, it's just a wormhole. You go down a path and continue and continue. I will be moving several of the echeverias. Look, you can't even see the snake, the talavera snake that I have. It is so covered, but I could see the coral aloe is doing so good. I'm a little sad that one of my Kalanchoe luciaes, or the paddle plant, has bloomed, which means that it will be dying. But I'm gonna let it go until it starts looking really ugly. And here I am, just using my blower to kind of get rid of some of these leaves. You have to be uh, just very careful not to not to hit your plants and go in between. And it's not gonna look beautiful at the beginning. You're gonna have to be chipping away at these little by little. My goal here is to do it not full power so that I don't break the leaves, because then that ends up being even more of a mess. And I do take the time to go ahead and kind of clean them up too, because they become very dusty. And well, the good part of having plenty of masks around is that you can wear a mask and the dust doesn't get to your lungs or make you cough or whatever. But yeah, my hubby and I, we tackled the yard this past weekend, and it was just so fun, so relaxing to just get in there and see what's what's happening in the garden, because it is, as I say, there's some of these plants that I didn't even remember that I had. They were covered up completely. As you see here, this little echeveria is exfoliated, um, again, because it was so covered in the leaves for such a long time. It just was wanting to get to the light. So I had to move it anyhow, because this coral aloe is just impaling it. So as you can see, I'm going to have to cut it. I know I get a lot of people cringing when I do this, because I don't use the leaves. You could take these off in theory, and if you have a lot of patience, you can propagate from the leaves. But in my case, I don't have patience, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut it, set it in the dry dirt, and yeah, hopefully it'll make it. If it doesn't get crushed by anything, it should be okay. So I'm going to find a spot for it later on, and hopefully it thrives. So, yep, let me see. This coral aloe, oh my goodness. This coral aloe needs maintenance. It is huge. I mean, huge. And it's also messing with my Esmeralda echeveria. So, yep, time to dig this beauty up. This one was one of the echeverias that was beheaded last year. And it formed the roots and did good. Um, it survived the summer, which was brutal, even though I did place it in a place where it got a little bit too much sun, in my opinion. So this year I'm going to move it towards the middle of this bed, and hopefully there it will get better lighting, more dappled sunlight, and not so hot like in this part of the garden. Here I am just cleaning up the dead leaves, and when you take out your succulents, it's a good idea always to, remove all those dead leaves, and just be very careful, because sometimes you end up breaking the other ones. They're so fragile, but look how beautiful. And this girl, yes, has been with me since the beginning of my garden. So this is one that I haven't seen again in the store, but if I do, I'm gonna go ahead and buy like 2 or 3, because it has been a champion. Again, it has survived almost 4 years with me, and echeverias tend to die after a while. And so I'm very pleased with this one. Oh, this one here, I do have a video on my channel where I did purchase this one from someone online, and it's taking a long time to grow. This is a totem pole cactus. I just love it. It is just so interesting. All the nodes it has, and it has no spines, and it just grows like beautiful formations. And yeah, it doesn't look like if it's grown much, but it has. It's growing slower than what I wish it would grow, but sometimes that's how it is. It just, the first years when they root, they take a while, and then after, a couple of years, they just take off. So I'm hoping this coming summer is going to be the one for this one to just take off. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of fresh dirt in there, and just make sure, the fresh dirt has nutrients in it, which the other dirt doesn't have, or soil. And So I'm just using some soil, whatever is left in pots. I recycle and I use it, and that seems to work fine for me. But look at the beautiful little nubby. And yep, I'm just gonna go ahead and water it, give it some water. This one is not a cutting. It has established roots, and it was very dry in that area where I had it, so I gave it a drink. Here I'm pondering, oh my goodness, what else, what else? As you see, I've removed most of the leaves, and it looks pretty clean. The rock looks a little bit messy, but I will be refreshing that later on. And I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to be planting whatever I took out. And yeah, you have to consider where they're going to be shielded, and also when you're replanting, I mean, your goal really is to keep them there as long as you can. So finding the place that's optimal for them is important. And you have to look at the surroundings. What are the plants that are around them? How do they grow? Will they grow very prickly, or will they grow very tall or bushy? If so, you might want to consider planting something like echeverias in another location, because they don't grow tall, they just grow wide. So that's something definitely to consider. I did plant it next to this little golden tooth aloe, and that one kind of grows up, but those are so easy. Once it clusters a little bit, I take those out and repot them anyhow, so I'm okay with this position. And as you can see, this area in the section of this bed is where I have most of my echeverias. My red ruffled echeveria and the Sahara. I have the Belen and all the Sahara babies, which you'll see what I do with them right now. This cutie, this agavoides, fell out of a pot, and it was behind my my garden cart. And so we're gonna go ahead and plant it here in the ground. And again, this is one of my favorites, the Echeveria agavoides. It is just so hardy, and I have several of these. And the ones that I do have, the bigger ones, some of them have babies, and they're a little bit like pointing down. That tends to be an indicator of them needing a little bit more water. So I will be giving them a little bit more water. But other than that, I think everything's doing great. This little brevifolia, aloe brevifolia, is such a cutie. And I guess it's going here. It's a little tough to dig with the rock, so just be patient, and you don't have to over dig. Again, here I am refreshing the soil. And oh, this is for the actual little echeveria that I cut. And yeah, this soil is very dry, so I'm just gonna plop it in there and leave it there. And hopefully it will start rooting, and just love it there. This area is the hottest area, and look how gorgeous the this aloe, not aloe, it's a it's agave. It's an agave. And again, this one's brutal, so you have to be very, very careful, but she is doing so good. And that blue color, you can't beat this plant. It's just so gorgeous. One of her babies is doing really good too. And yeah, this aberbifolia aloe, I decided to plant it here, and as you can see, it's got 2 babies, but they're not bothering me. I'm gonna leave them there and let them get a little bit bigger, and then just pull them out and plant them on their own. But if you can leave those babies if they're not getting malformed or too white where they're not getting enough sunlight, then leave them with the mama. But if, yeah, they're getting, you'll see in a moment the Sahara babies that I left on the stump. When I cut the mama off, I beheaded her and I left the stump there because she had some babies on the stump and they thrived. I mean, but they're starting to look a little bit malformed, and you'll see that in a moment. Here I'm going to deal with the babies from this coral aloe, which just got so beautiful. And this one is forming the babies behind her next to the fence. As you can see, I'm going to be pulling them out here. And I just reach towards the back and just pull them. They don't have a lot of root, but I'm just going to stick them in dry soil and I'm pretty sure they will thrive. They will probably lose the bottom leaves, but with time they will root. And I am really looking forward to this because look how beautiful this plant is. She's just gorgeous. Yep, looking under her skirt there and kind of cleaning her up and making sure everything is okay. But you do have to be very careful because these aloes they will scratch you and hurt you. They have little jagged teeth on the edges, and even though they're not spines per se, they will leave you all scratched. And yeah, I have an aloe that's a mystery. This aloe that's next to this one that has the long, narrow little leaves. I don't know about that one, but oh, here are the babies. I thought that was an actual Cameronia, but no, look at the Cameronia. She's a little bit stressed because I did cut her, but she's still beautiful. And look at these babies. Oh my goodness. And look at the garden. Look how beautiful it looks. I mean, I am so, again, happy that most of the plants made it. And at this point, I have plants that I know are tried and true and will survive in this environment. I do live in Southern California, and the summers are kind of brutal. They got up in the hundreds this past summer, and they can get down to almost freezing. So most of these plants, again, they do well. Many of them have been with me for a while, and I'm just very pleased to just keep propagating from these plants and maintain my garden at this point. I rarely go out and buy anything. I have a surplus which I'm sharing with my daughter, and it's just great. Again, these plants are so beautiful, so resilient. They do have a learning curve on how to maintain them. Well, so here I am, a little bit more maintenance, and I hope you enjoy the chipmunk voice because it is Christmas season. So here I am just lifting the agavoides. And as you can see, some of the babies are nice, but some of them are white and exfoliated and just not in good shape. So those might not make it, but out of 4 babies, I think that at least 3 or 2 will make it. So I'm very happy with that because, again, this is one of my favorites. And as you can see, the petals are kind of pointing down. That can mean overwatering, but in this case, I know that this plant is very dry, and I have not watered these succulents for months. I think last time they got water is when it rained, which had a light rain maybe a couple of months ago. So, yeah, they've been just surviving with the moisture in the air. So, all right, now to tackle these babies, these Sahara babies that were left on the stump. I do use these long tweezers to take leaves and kind of poke around in the back when I don't have too much access, but at this point I just decided to pull it all out. And we will see. At this, I'm not even going to cut them. I'm just going to yank them out. They cut easily from the stump. And as you can see, they're malformed and they're pretty big and they've survived well enough. And I think they're big enough where they can survive and thrive. But it's a little concerning that they're kind of funky looking a little bit. But hey, if they can get like the mama, imagine that. I have a bunch of these babies, so I'm going to go ahead and put them somewhere where I can monitor them and make sure that they're getting what they need in order to grow those roots and hopefully get strong so that I can replant them here in the ground. But look at that. These Saharas are so beautiful and resilient. The mama can take a lot of heat, and I'm so glad she did good with the beheading too, because yeah, in this case, see, look at this baby. It's attached to the stump here, and it's not gonna make it. I mean, I snapped it off, but in my experience, this is not gonna make it, but you never know. So there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 babies. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 babies. 9 babies. So if half of these make it, I'm gonna be a happy woman. I will cut down the stems before I plant them so that, yeah, they're a little bit more manageable and flat. And, okay, I wanted to show you, last thing I wanted to show you is how I water my succulents. And, again, these haven't been watered for a couple of months. I don't want to overdo it. So I use this sprayer. I believe it's a 5-gallon sprayer, maybe, or 2-gallon sprayer. But I just stream the water to the base off on the side and just make sure that that they get moisture. And here it's a little bit slanted, you can't tell, so I kind of aim that way, and I know the water's going to drip this, downhill, so it's going to water them. I do take the opportunity to wash the plants if they are dirty. If it's something like an aloe, those are less picky with the water. They take a little bit more water. If it's like an echeveria, let's see, the agave, I'll go ahead and wash it. Yeah, this gasteria. I'm just very careful with the echeverias because those are, those are a little bit picky with the water, but the copper spoons, the agave, the aloes, pretty much just water them, and I usually count to 10. I just squirt the thing in there and then count to 10, but it depends. If it's looking pretty dry, I'll give it a little bit more water. But here I have the stapelia, and the stapelia has the mealybug, so I'm washing it off. And I'm going to go ahead and treat it later on with something so that the mealybug doesn't climb back on and anchor on the leaves again. what would you call these, stumps? Arms? On the arms. Let's call them arms. See, you could see it. It's attached. And yeah, it just, once you hit it with the water, it falls off. Again, I can't wait to see if this one ever flowers. This was from a cutting that just a man, we went to purchase something and he had some at the side of his business, and I commented on it and he was so generous to give me a cutting, and I planted the cutting, and I think it's been like 3 years later. This is the amount of stapeli I have. It's living and it's finally thriving. So it's been all around my garden, and this is where it likes to be. So here's another Cameronia. This is the baby, and it's not stressed at all. But this one turns orange and red, beautiful when it's stressed. So I'm gonna go ahead and discuss my budget with it so that it could join my stress. And yep, this one, very hardy. All these plants are very hardy. Let's get here. Let's wash off the frog. And look at this myrtillo. It's gorgeous. It's had so much growth. Last year it just grew tons. And I did remove, I had a plant here that, of course I'm not going to remember the name. Oh, what is it called? It's the one that has the long spiny arms. Yeah, can't remember. But yeah. Here's the sprayer. And yeah, all watered up. So this is how I water them. I have had a lot of questions on how to water, and even though I've explained it, I've never really physically shown it. So hopefully this will help someone who was wondering, exactly what I do. And that's what I do. Okay, well, this video has turned into a video that is a bit long. I hope you're still here, and that if you have any questions, you can go ahead and leave them below. I'm so happy again to be able to share my garden with you guys, and like always, I wish you health and happiness wherever you are. I know that this year has been a little bit tough. My husband and I both were infected with COVID, and thank goodness that we made it, and we are so blessed that we were able to get better. There's a lot of anxiety and forgetfulness going on sometimes, but we are doing good. So again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and welcome to all the new subscribers. And I wish you a Merry, Merry Christmas full of love and joy. I will talk to you guys later, and I will leave you with some pictures of my garden. Bye.